Welcome to Financial Revelations. I am David Safransky, your host. This is yet another episode of Financial Revelations where we talk about money, and we are going to do that today. After all, it is a podcast about money, but I'm also going to give you a chance to do something else. I'm going to give you a chance to be an active participant, but only if you want to, in something that we do every year and sometimes twice a year. And I'm going to go over that in a little bit, but I do want to talk about money first because the markets are in what I would call reaction mode. And what are they reacting to? Well, they're reacting to interest rates. They're starting to rise a little bit. They're reacting to the Fed talking about taper, which is going to happen most likely this month. They're reacting to the budget, which is in a little bit of disarray. And then I feel relatively certain that it'll get worked out, and that the debt ceiling will be raised in some way because the Democrats who are in charge don't need any Republican votes to do that. And I think they're going to do it. But what's happening right now is the Republican leadership has very few levers to pull. So what are they doing? They're pulling the levers that they have to pull, and it's creating a little havoc. And we go through this with monotonous regularity, and sometimes, and all times actually, it works out. And the other thing is that we have really a struggling administration right now, and they're having a hard time getting the infrastructure bills they want passed. There's infighting in their own party. There's going to be no cooperation with the Republicans on this. They're not going to vote for this stuff. And so consequently, what does this all add up to? Well, it equals probably another bite at the apple for us. You know, one thing that we did have come out this morning that was kind of interesting news and over the weekend was that Facebook, their own research points to their platform, their different platforms, Instagram, Facebook itself, being harmful to people. And the way they set up the algorithms to get information off of it that they send to you creates a little bit of a harm. So they're very busy defending their research and also going after the whistleblower who came public over the weekend. And I have often said I like the idea of social media in general, the idea of it. I hate the implementation of it. It's virulent, it's mean, it's just really I think in a lot of ways harmful to people, especially younger people who don't realize that people aren't actually living like this. It's, for a lot of people, they put their best and brightest on there, and they're not showing you the other things. And I think it is hard for some people to take. So that news is also causing technology stocks to fall today. Again, I think it all adds to another shot at getting into a low market. Now, I'm not really buying anything today. I'd like to see some follow through, and I think this has some legs. So I think there's going to be some follow through on this. And so over the next week, we will be buying, and I'm going to buy Palantir is a stock that I have loved. Now remember, if you're not investing with us and you hear me mention a stock, that does not mean it's right for you. And you have to look at how much risk you want to take, what your goals are. So when I mention a stock here, I want you to talk to the people that you work with to see if it is right for your portfolio, if you should even be looking at it. Just because something is priced lower today than it was on Friday doesn't mean you should buy it. So I want you to take the suggestions that I have and take them to your own person to say, should this be in my portfolio or not? Odds are it may work, but I don't want you to just do something because I said it. I want to make sure that you're doing it in the right way. So what am I talking about? What do I want to give you a chance at? Well, every year since 2013, I have been going to the Amazon rainforest. And I have been digging water wells for indigenous people that live along the river. So in 2013, we had friends that are missionaries in Brazil, and they came to us and they said, "Hey, you and Levon, David, you guys should go to Brazil and dig a water well. You got to see this church in Maués." And I thought, well, it sounds great, but it sounds like there's a lot of spiders and a lot of bugs, and it's far away, and I'll be out of pocket. And so I'm talking to Levon about it, and I'm kind of vacillating back and forth. And Levon wanted to go. She's a science teacher. She wants to go see the Amazon. She wants to go on a mission trip. It's short. It's only 11 days from start to finish. So from the time we go wheels up in Cleveland to the time we go wheels down in Cleveland, 11 days. So and the way that we schedule it now, we work 2 weekends into it. So it's minimal business days out. And believe it or not, there's internet sometimes in the jungle where we go. So I'm not totally out of pocket. So we're talking about it in 2013 and I'm vacillating. I'm going back and forth. And I remember it vividly. We were walking our dogs. We have these 2 Border Collie Lab mixes that we rescued from an Amish farm. And I don't know if I want to go. I want to go. And finally, my wife just stopped. And Levon says to me, I want you to do one of 2 things. I want you to shut up and stay or shut up and go, but do one of those 2 things. So I said, oh, fine, I'll go. I was kind of grudgingly going. It's the jungle, after all. It's far away. And so we go and we get there. And I got to tell you, I fell in love with this church that's there in Mauez. Mauez is a small city in the jungle. We fly into a big city, Manaus. It's about 2 million people. We stay the night there in a hotel. We wake up the next morning. Now we've perfected the hotel stay. We know this. Don't ever stay at the Da Vinci Hotel in Manaus. Whatever you do, don't stay there. We've stayed there once, never again. But we've perfected the hotel stay where we're right next to a mall. And so you can pick up some things in a big grocery store. So you can pick up some things and snacks, and the dollar goes really far. We have a lunch, then we get on a public ferry at about noon, 3-story boat. We sleep in hammocks. We go 18 hours downriver. And we finally make this little city called Mauez where we get all of our stuff off the big boat and we get onto our church boat. Now, what I'm going to do, Josh is going to put up some pictures for the video. So if you're listening just on the podcast, you're not going to see these pictures, but we could email them to you, joshua@epsf.com. And I'll also put some up at Financial Revelations. So at FI Revelations on Twitter, I'll put some pictures up. So you can see those. But we get on our church boat, and then normally we go about another 6 or 8 hours into the jungle, on the river. We're on the river. We're living on the boat. The boat is newer. In fact, it's new, only a couple years old. We sleep in hammocks on the boat, but they're also transitioning the top floor of the boat, it's 2 stories, to a dental and physician's unit to where we can, when we're in the villages, if there's doctors or dentists with us, we can treat the villagers if they need some treatment. So we sleep in hammocks on the boat. We're on there for 3, 4, sometimes 5 days. It's got normal showers that we can take a shower every day. And, a lot of people ask me, well, what's the bathrooms like? The bathrooms are fine. You have flush toilets. So everybody seems to be fine with that. And believe it or not, where we go on the river, there's not a lot of bugs, hardly any mosquitoes. I've gone on trips, never gotten a mosquito bite. It's black water. It's this very dark, acidic water. And so it doesn't support mosquito life. Now, the jungle, when it rains a lot in the jungle in the rainy season, there's standing water all over the place, and there are mosquitoes there and bugs. But we're living on the boat, and the little villages are right along the river, and they don't have any fresh water to drink. So we drill a fresh water well that they can use. Now, it doesn't take electricity. Some villages do have a generator where they can have electricity and have the well operate electrically, but most of them are hand pumps. But they've never had fresh water to drink. And so the people that are living in these villages, they get dysentery, they get sick. And a lot of times they can't make it to the hospital in a timely fashion because they don't have motorboats. They're rowing a boat, a canoe, 8 hours by our boat. So it's going to be a couple of days by theirs. They could die on the way to the village. Consequently, a lot of people do. So what do? We come in, we deliver the gospel. The church already has a relationship with this village. And when we leave, our church in Mauez, Pastor Marcos and his team, it's Marcos and Paula, and they have 2 children. They send missionaries to live in that village and to minister to the village. So the villages, we stay in contact with them. The ministering continues. We go back when I have been back to many of the wells that we have dug in past trips. I've been there a couple of times a year or once a year now. During COVID, we couldn't go. So we postponed a couple of years, but we're going to go in June of 2022. Again, it's 11 days start to finish. Now, A couple things that I like to do. I like to take a pastor or a worship leader or somebody who would never be able to afford a trip. Uh, I like to take them and pay for it if we can. And I ask people to donate. And that's what I'm going to ask you to do today. If you want to go, I want you to email Josh or call us, and we can give you the information about the trip. It's very safe. We've never had anybody injured, but we do take precautions just in case somebody does get injured. And what I'd like to do is take a pastor or a music worship leader, somebody who's not going to be able to pay to go, and we raise money for that. So you can go to, and Josh is going to put up this address. It's iamusa.org. That's the website. Or you could mail a check, and you'll get a receipt because it's a charitable endeavor, 501c3. I am, and it's P.O. Box 38392, Cleveland, Ohio, 44138. And we're going to put these addresses up in the web address. But we'd like you, we're asking people to send in a donation, and it doesn't matter what it is. It takes about, if you don't have a passport, it takes a pastor about $2,000 to go. Plane ticket, boat fee, hotel, and then the passport fee. And we're organizing that now because passports are taking a long time to return. So if you want to donate, that would be great. If you want to go, that would be great. If you just want to pray for us, that would be great too. Now, a couple things I don't want you to do. I don't want you to give me money that would normally have gone to your church. So, your church tithe is more, that's where you're getting fed. I don't want you to dip in that to send us money. And I don't want you to send us your milk money. So if you need this money for groceries for your kids, don't send the money. Just pray for us because we do need that. We're traveling a long way. There's a lot of moving parts. We're lifting, we're walking. We're generally walking up hills. We're in the jungle. I've never seen a snake there. I've seen tarantulas, a lot of tarantulas, but they don't hurt you. So we've never had anybody get hurt, injured, sick, or anything like that. Travelers' issues occasionally. It happens to everybody. And there are some supplies that a pastor would have to buy to go. So there's filter water bottles and some other things, so expenses. So about $2,000. We have a couple of pastors that want to go, a music worship leader that wants to go. And I'd really like to bring them along. So if it's in your heart, in your pocketbook, I'd love to see you participate, or love to see you on the trip. So we do have room for a few people. And it's really easy to get there. We fly from Cleveland to Miami or wherever people are flying from. We all meet in Miami, and we get on a plane and we go right to Manaus from there. We like to stick together as a big group. So it's a great trip, and I really have loved doing it. And it's really become a focal point for Levon and I to go to the Amazon and be with the people there. And when you see the missionaries and the sacrifices that they're making, and I know nobody's making them do this. They want to do this. But it's great to be able to bless the missionaries because I know I have given messages at the church down there, and I do feel like I'm getting way more out of it than we're giving. And so if it's groceries, because food is very cheap down there, but they don't have a lot of money. And so for us to be able to go down there and bless them with groceries or something for their house or for when they receive guests, because they do receive a lot of guests, or just to bless them. And so I'd love to see you guys participate. I hope it is in your heart to do something, or at least pray for us. And next week we'll pick it back up again with some more financial stuff. But if you have questions, you could always contact us at FI Revelations on Twitter, or you can send an email to joshua@epsf.com. I am David Safransky. This is Financial Revelations, and I will see you next week.